الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق. Now, so we are completing Surah At-Takwir, the folding up. And okay, that could remind, what's the last ayah we completed? علمت نفس ما أحضرت. I believe that's the last ayah. Or وإذا الجنة أزلفت. And when the Jannah is brought near. علمت نفس ما أحضرت. So when the Jannah is brought near, the fire is set to ablaze. Every soul will know what it has brought, presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every soul will know. Allah ta'ala then swears. And Allah ta'ala swears. This is a very important note about swearing. As for the creation, human and jinn, then it is not permissible to swear other than by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And al-qasm, it's done as we took in everyday Arabic. How do you swear by Allah? Mika'il. Nah. Billahi. Nah. Wallahi. Again. Tallahi. Billahi. Ahsan. Now, so we swear by Allah using three letters. Wa, bi, and ta. You say wallahi. That means I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tallahi also means I swear by Allah, but it's more emphasis. And billahi. So I mean wallahi billahi. And the reason they come in that order is because this is by the usage. Wallahi is used in, and wa is used to swear more than bi. So it comes first. Wallahi means I swear by Allah ta'ala. Billahi also means I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And tallahi, you'll find that in Surah Yusuf. I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, the word swear, it means qasam. So a person can also say, aqsamu billah. Aqsam billah. And you find Allah Ta'ala using this form of swearing, and wallahi, or the wow for swearing, Allah uses it to swear by his creation. And when Allah Ta'ala swears by his creation, that means that creation is a great and a serious sign. But we are only allowed to swear by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Man kana halifan falyahlif billah or liyasmut. That whoever's going to swear, then let him swear by Allah or be quiet. Ibn Mas'ud, and we know the crime, the great, is a major sin to swear by Allah and lie. But somebody say wallahi, or billahi, or tallahi, or aqsam billah, and be lying, it's a major sin, it's a serious sin. Especially in its worst, you won't really probably, no, you will find this here, but it'll be in English. Especially when it is used to use Allah as a bargaining chip. A bargaining chip. And you find this in the marketplaces. Whoever plans on traveling abroad, sad to say, but you're going to find this in the marketplace. The Prophet ﷺ, number one, Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَلَا تَجْعَلُوا اللَّهُ أَرْضَةً فِي أَيْمَانِكُمْ. Do not make Allah Ta'ala a bargaining chip in the oaths that you make. Right? In Surah Al-Baqarah. Also, the Prophet warned, he said, the hadith we mentioned, whoever's going to swear, then let him swear by Allah or be quiet. Let him swear by Allah or be quiet. It's a major sin to swear by Allah Ta'ala and lie. So, the way a person uses Allah as a bargaining chip, you'll find in marketplaces, is the buyer and the seller lie to each other and use Allah's name to convince one another. So the buyer, he wants to lower, because he's seen, I know he's seen this before. The person wants to lower the price. So he says, wallahi, I only got this much. right? So he's using Allah's name to make the buyer lower his price. So the seller wants a certain price. He said, Wallahi, I'm only going to make this much. La ilaha illallah. So now Allah is the bargaining chip. La taj'alu Allah 'urdatan li aymanikum. Don't make Allah a bargaining chip in your oaths. You go abroad, you're going to see this rampant in the marketplace. And this is because two major principles of buying and selling are left off. Allah Ta'ala has placed restrictions on the buyer and he's placed restrictions on the seller. But many people only think the seller is the issue. No, the buyer is an issue too, right? The hadith of Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, La tanajashu, right? Do not inflate prices on one another. And one of the forms of inflating prices on one another that's really well known, and I know you go through it a lot. It happens a lot at auctions, where somebody is there not intending to buy, but he's there to jack the price up to keep someone else from being he's with the seller in order for the seller to get more. So he falsely bids in order to keep the bid going up. And this is tanajush. This is impermissible. This is how detailed our Islam is, right? Another form of tanajush, and anybody that's traveled probably is going through this also, is that the person is strange to the area. He doesn't know the prices of things. So then the person knows the person's a stranger, either he's from another country by the accent or from them not knowing. So the item is normally $3. And here's an individual who comes in with an accent. Yeah, how much are these right there? Oh, $10. Why? He doesn't know the prices. This is tanajush. La tanajush. So when this happened, and I don't know which happened first, Allahu a'lam which one happened first. When this happened, then the people also have an issue of driving the price down. So the person comes and the seller, and especially this is a sin when the seller, and this is a scam that is used in real estate a lot. This is a scam that's used in real estate a lot. As a matter of fact, they teach you this. If you want to go into real estate, they're going to teach you this. It's called purchasing distressed properties. And one form of distressed properties is when the seller of the property has financial pressure, right? As a matter of fact, at Century 21, they teach you, and when they're teaching you how to sell property, they will teach you. They will say, if you don't feel bad about the price that you got the property for, then you didn't do a good job. You should feel guilty that you got it for such a low price. Allah understand. This is what they teach you in real estate. To buy distressed property, the person is stressed out. They had a death. They need the money for the funeral, like that. He said, that's when you put the pressure on them and drive it down because they're not in a position to bargain. And Allah Ta'ala didn't permit that. Allah Ta'ala said in more than one surah, Surah Al-A'raf and other surahs, Surah Al-Hud, وَلَا تَبَخَصُ النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُم. Do not depreciate the value of people's property. So Allah ordered the seller not to jack the price up, and he ordered the buyer not to drive the price down. So both have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what would cover that, especially when you're dealing with Muslims, what would cover all of that is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said what? When the Prophet ﷺ said, La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibba li nafsi. None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. None of you truly believe. So now, if you go in to purchase something from your brother and he asks for a price that is commensurate, that is equal to the value of the thing, but you drive him down because you believe I can get him to get it for lower, or I can complain about this. You feel like that you have gained. You are actually harming your brother. You're harming your brother. You're driving his price down. The same way that he got more money. So you'll see somebody that you believe don't have money, you give them a bargain. You see somebody that you believe do have money, and you drive the price up. It's impermissible. It's impermissible on buying and selling. And if we go by the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la yu'minu. Hey, naam, Abdul Khabir, wallahi, Abu Rumaysa. When you go traveling abroad, taxis, they're going to get you. Taxi's going to get you every time. a trip, because you got to realize there's a currency difference. Like right now in Egypt, before my daughters came back, the dollar was like 31 to 1. 31 to 1. But this is just a sidebar benefit. When you go overseas and you see the difference in the currency, and you see, dang, $1 I can buy such and such, stop thinking like that, because you're going to burn your money, you end up broke. You start comparing, oh, that's only $1 in America. That's only $5 in America. That's the quickest way to go broke and end your trip. When you go overseas, I don't care how much money they give you for the dollar. Treat their currency like it's your currency. You're that, wherever you are, that's what you are. If you're in Colombia, Mexico, pesos, that's your money is pesos now. You don't have dollars anymore. You have pesos. If you go to Egypt, you have Junay. You don't have dollars anymore. You have Junay. Count by Junay. That's a Junay, and make sure about the price. Because if you start saying this is only $1, that's only $5, before you know that you spent $5,000, it's gone. I've seen many families. I was over there 2 decades. I've seen many families go over and they say, that's only that many dollars. That's only that many dollars. And they had planned to be there for a year, 2 years. They were going in 6 months. Ran through their money, 6 months. No, brother came, he came with $10,000. At that time, the dollar was like 8 to 1. $10,000. That means he had 80,000 Egyptian pounds. That at that time, the rate of apartments and food, and he was single, that should have easily lasted him 1.5 years, 2 years. 3 months, he was gone. Because that's only such and such dollars. That's only such and such dollars. If you want to get the benefit, live like the locals, or you'll be back. Live like the locals. Now, so that's that benefit. So, an example of this, Al-Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, he gave an example of this, the proper behavior when it comes to this. What happened? He was on a journey. He had a gulam with him. And while he's traveling, there was a man on their way. Maybe I narrated this story before about Imam al-Shafi'i. There was a man on the road selling a horse. So he stopped Imam al-Shafi'i and the young boy that was with him and said, I have a horse for sale. Imam al-Shafi'i stopped, looked at the horse and said, how much do you want for it? He said, ثلاثة دنانير. Oh, dirham. I forget which the currency was. If it was either dananir or dirham, they were gold coins, gold and silver coins. So Imam al-Shafi'i looked at the horse. He wanted 3. He said, I'll give you 5. The man said, that's up to you. Imam al-Shafi'i at that point then began walking around the horse, looking at it again. He said, I'll give you 7. I said, yeah, that's up to you. If you want to give me 7, you only asked for 3. Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, looked at one last time and looked at it real good and said, I'll give you 9. The man said, that's up to you. At that point, Imam Shafi'i paid the man 9 dirham or dananir, I forget which one, and left with the horse. After they got a distance away, him and the young boy, they got a distance away from the horse, from the seller. He said, يا الإمام كان يرضى بالثلاثة وأنت ما زلت تزيد حتى دفعت 9. He said, the man only wanted 3. You kept adding to the price and adding to the price until you paid 9. He said, why? He said, because when I examined the horse, I saw that had I been selling it, I would have asked for 9. And the Prophet ﷺ said, none of you truly believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. This happened to me here. I set up outside, I'm selling my thobes and things like that. So a brother of ours, he came out and I had a thobe for sale. So he tried a different one. He was sizing up to himself. And the thobe that he chose, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, had a stain in it. So at that point, when he said, this one has a stain in it, I said, I'll give it to you. I think I said 25. MashaAllah. He said, no. And he only allowed me to lower it. It's our brother Muhammad Tori. So our elder Muhammad Tori. He said, only allowed me to lower it like 5 or something. He said, no, because I can wash it and I'll get the stain out. So he didn't allow me to go, but so low, and he asked me, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, and I'm not trying to put him on the spot, but this needs to be known. Just like bad stuff is put out, the good things that happen in our community needs to be known. So he showed exemplified brotherhood when I wanted to go maybe 10 lower than the original price. He said no, and he raised it back up. He said, because I can get the stain out myself. And then he purchased the thobe. Hafidhullah Ta'ala. Now, so this is the way it goes. And this is what keeps a duggan, like ill feelings and like that, when our transactions are clean and when each person is worried about the other individual, everybody comes out happy. Everybody comes out happy, and it makes our bond stronger. It makes our bond stronger. So now, and we came to all of this because of swearing and using Allah Ta'ala as what? As a bargaining chip. That's how we get to all of that. So another way of swearing, you have wallahi, as Mikhail mentioned, wallahi billahi tallahi. So that's swearing, but we only can swear by Allah. Also the word half. The word half means to swear. So you can say ahlifu billah. That's also swearing, right? Also you have al-qasam. So you can say aqsam billah. Uqsimu billah. Allah Ta'ala said, La uqsimu bihadha al-balad. Uqsim billah. Not aqsam, uqsim billah. Right? So you have that swearing. Uqsim billah, ahlif billah, wallahi billahi tallahi. So there's the 5 ways you swear by Allah. You say uqsim billah, not aqsam. I said aqsam before. Uqsim billah, ahlif billah, wallahi billahi tallahi. This is the 5 ways of swearing by Allah. And the reason I'm mentioning that, because this is another creation that Allah Ta'ala is swearing by in this surah. Allah Ta'ala is swearing by this surah, the next ayat that we're coming to. So Allah Ta'ala says, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّاسِ. So I swear by a khunnas. The ulama say, أقسم الله تعالى بالنجوم. Al-khunnas are the stars that are hidden. You know, we used to see the stars. He said, أقسم بالله. They says, أقسم الله بالنجوم الخفية. ها قبل بزوغها في الليل. So the stars are always in the sky. However, the brightness of the sun in the daylight hides them. So Allah Ta'ala swore by the stars when they are hidden by the brightness of the sun before they become exposed by the night. The night is what exposes them. So Allah swears by that. Anything that Allah Ta'ala swears by, it's a very special creation. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّاسِ الْجَوَارِ الْكُنَّاسِ الْجَارِيَاتِ في أفلاكها التي تغيب عند بزوغ الصبح مثل الضبع تدخل كناسها أي بيتها. He said, I swear by the hidden stars that are hidden by the night that run in their orbit. This is another important point that goes against modern science. But Allah Ta'ala explained this over 1400 years ago. He said about the stars, Al-Jariyat fi aflakiha, the stars that are moving in their orbit. We understand the science that the stars are supposed to be just sitting there. No, Allah Ta'ala said that they're moving in their orbit. They're moving. Allah Ta'ala said that the sun is moving. He said the moon is moving. But we're told that the earth is the one thing that's moving, and those things are sitting still. Here Allah Ta'ala said, Al-Jariyat fi aflakiha, that they're moving, that the stars are moving about in their orbit. Alati taghib anda bazugh as-subh, that disappear when the morning appears. Misl al-baba, like the lizard. Tadkhul fi kinasiha ay baytiha, like the lizard that returns to its hole, returns to its home. So it's like they go into a hole. They disappear, and like that. والليل إذا عصعص وأقسم بأول الليل إذا أقبل وبآخره إذا أدبر. He said, والليل إذا عصعص. He swore by the first part of the night when it first begins to appear, and the last part of the night when the night begins to disappear. والصبح إذا تنفس. And وَأَقْسَمَ بِالصُّبْحِ إِذَا بَزَغَ نُورُهُ. And he swore by the morning when the light of it becomes very bright. إِنَّ الْقُرْآنَ إِنَّ هَذَا لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. Allah said, this is the word of an honorable messenger. إِنَّ الْقُرْآنَ المنزل على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ها لكلام الله بلغه ملك أمين وهو جبريل. Now that Allah Ta'ala favored, He said, indeed, this is the Quran that was sent down upon Muhammad. The speech is the speech of Allah Ta'ala. It was brought down, or I'm sorry, it was conveyed by a honorable or trustworthy angel, which is Jibril alayhi salam, that Allah Ta'ala tammahu Allahu alayhi, that Allah Ta'ala favored him with it, entrusted him with it. ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين. He's صاحب القوة. This is a strong angel. The manzila, he has a strong station or position with Allah. Azima, a mighty station with Allah. Inda Rabbil Arsh, subhana, with the Lord of the worlds. So this is the 20th ayah. We'll stop here. But one of the great benefits we have, ya ikhwa wa akhawat, that we do not use Allah as a bargaining chip or a convincing chip. Do not be frivolous in swearing by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And swearing by Allah and lying, as we mentioned before, is a great sin. But swearing by Allah. But swearing by other than Allah,
there's definitely some old joy. It's crazy though. Look at.
But swearing by other than Allah is shirk. It's polytheism. It's disbelief. To swear by Allah and lie is a great sin. But to swear by Allah, I swear by my father. This is the kuffar. Don't get caught up in this. When we were younger, Micaiah, Elias, the same thing. I swear by my dead grandmom. I swear by people used to say that's the shit, right? Now they say what? On this, on that, right? On God. Okay, that's different. They swearing by Allah. They're swearing by God. But whatever, I don't know what they believe in. We can't say they're swearing by Allah unless they believe in Allah. They say on God, but they on my kids, on my this, on my that. No, they're swearing by other. Don't pick up that stuff. Don't pick up what those kuffar say. You don't know what they're talking about. So when they say on something, on this, on that, on my car, on my house, they're swearing by that house. They're swearing by that car. Right? So Ibn Mas'ud, to the point he said, I would rather swear by Allah. Now we already know that swearing by Allah is a serious major sin. You're acting like Allah is a bargaining chip. Ibn Mas'ud said, I would rather swear by Allah and be lying than swear by other than Allah and be telling the truth. That's how serious it is swearing by other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, I would rather swear by Allah and be a liar, be lying, than swear by other than Allah and be telling the truth. Abu Amir, your microphone keeps coming on. Now, Abu Rumaysa, you have your hand raised.
I have a question.
Naam, tafaddal.
When it comes to like buying and selling, right? For example, is there like a limit to how high a price can be set? Like the profit margin. For example, you may buy something wholesale for like so cheap, like cents on the dollar, but then you turn around and you can make like 20 times, 50 times.
Yeah.
Right. More off it. Is there a limit? As long like, okay, you might have a common price. For example, soap. You have a common price of like $2 for soap. But I can get it wholesale for like 2 cents. But I sell it at $2 though, or to me $2.50, and like, tripling, quadrupling my money. Is there a limit to this or no?
That's a beautiful question. And there's no limit to the profit you can make off your merchandise. There's no limit. You can get it for free and sell it for $1,000. And this is the argument that the people try to bring when Allah made riba haram. This is the argument they tried to bring. Allah Ta'ala said, الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتقبطه الشيطان من المس. He said, those who take of riba, they will not stand on the day of judgment except like an insane person who's been driven to madness by the touch of shaitan. ذلك, Allah said, why? That's the reason for that is ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا. They said, the profit you make off trade is just like riba. Allah Ta'ala did not justify. Allah does what he wants. Allah said, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ بَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ riba. Allah said, well, Allah has made trade permissible and he made riba haram. Allah didn't explain and didn't apologize or anything. They said, but the money you can make, the profit you can make off trading is just like the interest you make off loans. Allah said, but Allah made trading halal and made riba haram. فَمَنْ جَاءَهُ مَوْعِدَةٌ مِنْ رَبِّهِ فَانْتَهَى. Allah Ta'ala said, so whoever an admonishment has come to him from his Lord, so let him leave it alone. End of it. Even if it's similar in the eyes of the people, even though, okay, hold it. You can make more if you get to the source of the product, you can make more in trade than you can in interest. Okay. But Allah has made interest haram and he has made trade halal. And the people that back then and the people now that use that argument, they don't really realize the argument is against you. This is another example that the deen is easy. So now why would you need to do riba if trade, you can make more money off trade? Then do trade and stop doing riba. And some of the harms of riba that the scholars explain, because Allah didn't explain himself. But some of the harms that the scholars explain is that because in trade, you're going to get one of four things. You're going to get a product, a brand, a service, or an experience. With riba, you're selling me money. You're selling money. I'll give you this for this. I'll give you $100. You got to give me 110, 115. That extra is for what? What is it for? I'll give you 100. In 2 weeks, you're going to pay me back. In a month, you're going to pay me back. You need to pay me 110. The extra that you're paying me, what do you give me the extra for? You feel like you're selling me money. It's different when I bring an item. It's none of your business what I paid for. All you know is that I have the item, you want it, how I got it, what I went through to get it. You don't know any of that. So I say, okay, I bought it for 100. I want 110 for it. I bought it for 10. I want 110 for it. I bought it for 5. I want 250 for it. That's not your concern. Your concern is that is it the value for it to you? Is it worth the money that you're going to give me? And plus the fact that in riba, you're forced to pay that extra. In trade, you could either accept my price or reject my price and walk away. You're not forced. You're not forced. Whereas riba, you're forced. Because now, if you don't, it's going to keep piling up and piling up and piling up. So Allah Ta'ala said, yeah, and they can take it back after you've paid money. You don't get your money back, and they take the house or the vehicle back. I like that now. But Allah Ta'ala didn't explain this stuff. They said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا الْبَيْءُ مِثْلُ الرِّبَا. They said, indeed, trade is just like interest. Because you can double, triple, quadruple your money. Allah said, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْءَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. So Allah Ta'ala has made trade halal and he made riba haram. فَمَنْ جَاءَهُ مَوْعِدَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِ فَانْتَهَى. So whoever comes to him, admonishment from his Lord, leave it off. وَلَهُ مَا سَلَفَ وَأَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. And that which, and this is when it was coming down, when the impermissibility was coming down. So he has the right to his initial sum. One of the biggest loaners during the time of the Prophet was his uncle Abbas. That's the first person. He was big loan shark. He's loaning to everybody. The Prophet's uncle Abbas, the Prophet first, he came out when the riba was made haram, and came out and said, whoever owes Abbas, Ibn Abdul Muttalib, any money, then any interest on that, you don't have to pay. All you have to do is pay back the initial sum. The Prophet announced that about his uncle's loans. He's the first one he talked about with his family. He said, whoever owes Abbas, my uncle, any money, you don't no longer have to pay the interest on that money. Just pay him back the initial sum that you borrowed from him. Prophet implemented on his own family first. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. So now, so we'll stop here at Ayah 20. Now, tfaddal.
You go buy something,
Now,
like this computer,
yeah.
and I bought it for 300.
Mhm.
And the agreement between you and me, I want to sell it to you for 1,000 now.
Mhm.
Is it allowed? Because the Muslim loan
Mhm.
is more than when you go to the bank. So
Now,
yeah,
this is another this is like Barakallah figure mentioned this. Okay. Our elder Toy, he mentioned a very important point. People are talking about halal banking now. And the halal banking is a lot of times, if you ever try to delve into it, it's going to be worse than the haram banking. Why? Because it's the same thing. It's like Bani Israel when they left the net in the water on Friday and they took it out on Sunday, and they said Allah told them not to fish on Saturday. So they left the net in the water on Friday, and then they came and took it out on Sunday. And then they said, oh, we didn't catch the fish, the net caught the fish. So it's the same thing. So one of the conditions of buying is that the person must own it. The person selling it should own it, right? One of the haram things of buying, al-bay'i ma la tamlik, right? And this is not like a middleman. It's permissible, it's halal to be a middleman, but it is not halal for a person to say, oh, so-and-so wants that. So they're going to go through the bank, and as if they own it from the bank, in order for the person to be able to get it from the bank, it's like they're going around, they're trying to find a loophole around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then they say they get it. And they say, when they get it, they say, okay, we're going to loan you the money now. That's how the picture goes. I had a detail. I used to go through this a lot in Maryland. So the Muslim gets it now. Let's say when the bank, when the person was going to borrow the money from the bank, let's say it was for a house or a car. So it was going to be, let's say, 2.7% interest on it. Then they go through the so-called halal banking system, and they put 6 point something interest on it. So it goes way up. But the only reason they got involved themselves in the purchase, they didn't own it. They don't have a home. They don't own the home. They went through the bank. They don't own the car. They went through the car lot in order for you to go around to the car lot like that. No, the person has to purchase that item with the intention to sell it to you. It doesn't matter, but they have to purchase it with the fact that you still have the choice to buy it or not. So they make a deal with you before actually owning it. So now they're buying something they don't own. It's impermissible. I mean, they're selling something they don't own. Okay, if you make an agreement with me that you'll pay this percentage or you'll pay this much more for it, I'll buy it and I'll sell it to you because I got the cash to buy it. It's haram. They say, you want that house? How much is it? It's 150,000, but I don't have it. And if I get a loan, I'm going to involve myself in riba. So they say, okay, I'll purchase the house and sell it to you, but if I sell it to you, it's going to be 375,000. You have to agree to pay that and sign everything. Then they'll purchase it and then they'll sell it to you. No. Yep. It's haram. Why? Because they sold it to you before they actually owned it. And they bound you to a price, whereas in selling and trade, you still, because the person is supposed to own it, you still should have the choice to agree with the purchase, pray istikhara, and then change your mind if you want. But when they bind you to that, you don't have the choice to walk away. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-ba'iyan bil-khiyar, ma lam yatafarraqa. He said, the buyer and the seller have a choice as long as they don't separate. They don't give you that choice to separate. They don't give you that choice to change your mind. And that's not normal buying and selling.
And the truth about it, they say it's not percentage. We bought it for 100,000, we give it to you for 400,000.
Mm-hmm.
But in the middle, they don't say because they say it's not riba.
Yeah.
They say it's not percentage.
Yeah.
They say when you go to the bank gonna say 2%, 4%. That's haram.
Yeah.
But they say we bought it for 100,000, we sell it to you for 400,000. That's halal.
Okay. Now, if they say they bought it, like our elders say, they say they bought it for 200,000, or they're going to sell, or even 100,000, they're going to sell you for 400,000. That's halal. That's halal if they actually bought it without knowing who was going to purchase it. Okay, just like we do it in a normal business. We buy merchandise, we don't know who our customers want to be. We hope that Allah will bless us with customers want to buy. We put our price on it and like that, and that's it. That's the end of it. That's halal. But they're only purchasing it because they saw your interest in it. And they want you to agree to the price, the future price that they're going to put on it before they actually purchase it. Because if you don't agree to that price, they're not going to buy it because they're not into real estate. They're not going to buy it because they don't sell cars. They don't have a car lot. So they're selling something they don't own. And this is what makes it impermissible. Even if it's a fixed price, it's still impermissible. Now, barakallah fiqh, that's an important question. Now, Abu Rumaysa, your hand was up.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Just briefly touch on how to navigate the interest, man, like with insurance companies, man, with these vehicles, or sometimes you're like,
Yeah, there's no way to navigate through interest. You either avoid it or either you're forced to pay it. Yeah, so if you're forced to pay it, meaning that they're going to harm you in your property. They're going to harm you in your life. You're either going to be locked up, or you're going to get fined, or they're going to take your property, and like that, then the sin is on them. It's not on the person. Like you said, with car insurance.
yeah.
Car insurance, you don't have it, they take your car, they take your license, and like that. So you get it in order to avoid a greater harm. You get it in order to avoid a greater harm, because they will take your property. I mean, even like taxes. Taxes is haram. Taxes are haram. But you're forced to pay it, because if not, they take your things, they lock you up, they'll do things to you, and like that. So the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith of Anas, he said, Inna Allah ghafra li ummati al-khata wa nasyan wa ma stukrihu alayh. Allah, the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has forgiven for me, my ummah, mistakes, forgetfulness, and what they're forced to do. So when you're faced with threat of physical harm or death, physical harm, financial harm, imprisonment, and like that, and they're forcing you to do something impermissible, to at that point, it becomes permissible for you to do it to avoid the greater harm, like imprisonment, or your property being taken, you being killed, or you being beaten, or something like that, when it comes to the laws of the society that is set up. Nah, wallahu al-musta'an. Abu Amir, your hand was up. Okay, his hand's down. Okay, now Abdul Hakim, what do you say? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Ustad.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Allah yahfadukum. Now, so I'm
Jazakallah
seeing your message now. You said,
Yeah,
okay, post us some beneficial knowledge regarding Islamic finance or ethics regarding trading. That's actually a book of hadith that I wanted to go through back in 2000.
Yeah.
Or it might have been 2019, and it's all on finances, because I think this is the least talked about subject, right? You get a class on fiqh, we'll do this, but this is from fiqh, finance.
Yeah.
Especially in these societies we live in, because Abdul Hakim's in the UK. Should I say England or UK, Abdul Hakim?
Say what you like, bro. It's still the same thing.
Nah. Hey, nah. So he's in the UK.
Dar al Kufa.
Nah, it's all the land of disbelief. So, England is the one who sent out, when they and colonized everywhere, there's the one that established the financial. And then after that, the Jews put their sweet little touch on it to make it really oppressive. So, yeah, I think this is the least talked about subject. So I'm going to try to begin sharing in our groups more information on how to take care of things financially while we're here. Some things we're forced to do. The sin is not on us.
Yeah.
Quran, and this is an important thing. How do you judge necessity? Necessity is judged in the Quran. Allah Ta'ala said, so whoever is forced. Number one, necessity means that which puts your life in danger if you don't do it. Your life, not your comfortability. Not being comfortable. You can be uncomfortable, but Allah Ta'ala doesn't order us to kill ourselves or die. Right? So if it's life-threatening, it's a necessity. Now, if it makes life unbearable, meaning you're going to live, but it's highly unbearable, it becomes a need, right? And then if it makes life uncomfortable, bearable but uncomfortable, then it's a want. And I really want a better word than a want. And then if it makes life special, it's a luxury. So inshallah, we'll begin sharing those financial things that are actually
Ustad, sorry to
Yes.
like put you on the spot in that way. I didn't mean to put the pressure on you, but like you said, I think that area of finance, there's so many grey areas with it, you know, and it gets confusing, you know. So just some clarity there would be really beneficial. Nothing like too heavy, but just, you know, basic things that would help us navigate the issue. You know what I mean?
Nah. And there's an older brother from Gambia. I would like to, maybe we can do a workshop on Islamic finance with the brother. He's an accountant, really close to me, brother Sheikh Uthman from Gambia. And we can talk about what Trump was bold enough to talk about, the financial loopholes that exist where you can, by their laws, avoid their taxes. This is important information to get out.
Yeah.
Because it's legal. And we want to put it out there so Muslims can know. I don't care if you're a small business person. I don't care if you get a W-2, you work for a company. They have legal ways to avoid taxes that they'll never tell you about. Reagan said back in the 80s, he said, there's plenty of money here for American people, but people don't know where it is. There's all types of grants a person can get, whether it be to study, grants, not loans. And all this stuff needs to be exposed because people are feeling the financial pressure of life. How do you get out of this pressure? It's there, but who reads the fine line? Everybody just, oh, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. No, it's actually ways to avoid taxes, avoid these different fines and ways to get money. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll try to expose those things more and more. But I think it would need more than posts. It would need an actual workshop, Q&A. We'll have financial professionals here who know the law. Like Trump said, what did he say? When Hillary Clinton said, he doesn't pay taxes. He said, you're right. He said, because I'm a smart man. He said, I don't pay taxes. He said, if you want me to pay taxes, all you have to do is change the tax law. But you won't, because the people that donate to your campaign, the people that fund you, they benefit from the same law that I use. So now we have to say, okay, he exposed a very important thing. Now we got to find out what laws what are the laws that he's using, and use them. If we are fall in that bracket, or if we have the ability. So we need the professionals that know the law, and then we need to put that next to the Sharia and see, okay, how can we use those things? And wallahi, I know some people that do it, and they're fine. They're not complaining. Fine, they're not wealthy. Some of them, they're not wealthy, but they're fine financially because they know how to get out of this, got it out, to get money from that, to get a break on that, to get their bill lower, and like that. And this is part of what we need to survive. It doesn't mean that we're going to have a workshop like, this is not motivational, generational wealth type, where we're going to come together, we're going to become millionaires.
Name Tony Robbins.
No, a Tony Robbins lecture, but we will, inshallah ta'ala, expose ways to avoid paying money that we should not have to pay in the first place. Then we break off from you guys, Abdul Hakim, in order to stop paying taxes.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah.
Bro,
America broke off from England to not pay taxes to the Queen, and then they begin taxing just like the Queen or more than the Queen.
Exactly. That's what most of the time they don't like it. If criminals are making money that they know that they should be making, that's what makes it criminal. But then they still do the powers that be still do the same thing as some crooks.
Exactly.
But they just legislate it. You know what I mean?
Nah, exactly.
Thanks, Aki. Jazakallah khair.
Allah yahfadh. Okay, so if there's no more questions, we'll stop here, and inshallah ta'ala, we'll go on. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Abu Amir.
Hey, yeah, forgive me. I don't really know how to navigate this thing the best. I was trying to, unmute myself, and I put my hand down.
Okay, no problem.
I wanted to mention something. Inshallah, I'm gonna try to send it to you. I have a article that was a panel of scholars went over, the contracts from a lot of these so-called Islamic financing places.
No.
some of the contracts, I said, I'll send it to you if you want to, distribute it to anybody else after you look at it. And, it's a few companies that they actually recommended that their contract was, I guess, sound.
Legit.
Yeah. One of the things that was mentioned was for one of the companies that the property is purchased flat out, or whatever you come to the table with, you guys are partners until you partner out and become the full owner. But one of the downsides you see with these companies is the qualification.
Your voice went out. Abu Amir. Assalamu alaikum.
On one hand,
we lost you at qualifications.
You hear me?
I hear you now. We lost you at qualification. You said one of the downfalls is the qualifications.
It's a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
To get qualified.
To get approved. Yeah.
To get approved.
Yeah.
I said I sent it to you, just in case, somebody want to look into one of those companies.
Okay.
It's not a whole lot. It's a couple. They went through all the ones that claim to be,
halal,
claim to be Sharia compliant. That's the language they use to get you.
Yeah. Nah.
I try to send it to you, inshallah.
Okay, send it to me. I'll look it over. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Okay, inshallah, that's our class for today. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.